All right, Marshall Kent prevails in the PBA Norm Duke Open here. Improbable fashion, splits left and right down the stretch here. You've had a couple of minutes here to kind of soak it in. How do you kind of begin to process what you accomplished here today?
I think I'm gonna need a few more minutes to soak it in. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, you obviously plan on making the split when you're going for it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. You know, there's been plenty of times I've thrown the 4 in front of the 9 or right behind it, or 4 in front of the 10, and both of them just happened to be perfect, and was able to take advantage of some good shots, and then the roll through 2 great shots, and I'm a loss of words, to be honest. Just an absolute fight, and I mean, I knew even going into it, anytime you bowl Simon, it's going to be a dogfight, regardless. I mean, even if he looks like he's out of it, all of a sudden he's going to throw a 4-bagger and be right there too. So he just never lets up, and you can never let up. And I think after game 1, I kind of got into fight mode, like this is kind of do or die, and locked in. And I think just being able to lock in mentally was huge. But I definitely had some help, had someone looking out for me today. So it was just to win on Father's Day. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've talked a few times over the years in your wins, and you've dedicated just about each of them to him. So I can only imagine how much winning number 9 on Father's Day would mean to you. Can you talk a little bit more about your relationship with your dad growing up and all the hours I'm sure you guys spent together practicing?
Yeah, it was he was my best friend, simply put. I was just actually on the phone. I remember who I was on the phone with the other day, but I was kind of struggling a little bit mentally. It was sometime after the World Series, and it's like it's been kind of rough trying to figure out life without him, bowling wise too. I could be on the road for a year, and I'd come home and he'd have me fixed in 10 minutes, like no matter what. He just knew my game so well, and trying to do what I can to fill that void and just fight through it. It's had its ups and downs for sure. But yeah, I miss him dearly, and I think that's what made it so special to have Mom here too, because growing up, it was always me and Dad on the road, and Mom was back at home taking her to bowling center, so she didn't get very many opportunities to travel. But last couple of years since she's been retired, she's been able to come out to more tournaments and see more shows, and actually I think this is a 3rd win in the last 2 years that she's seen. See you, Norman. So just to be able to have her in person to witness these last couple of years has been an absolute blessing.
I know you're a bit of a gym rat, both in the weight room and on the lanes. I feel like everything that you did in that second game, from making the splits, digging deep when you needed it, throwing the strikes down the stretch when you needed it, is kind of emblematic of what you've done and all the hours you've put in on the lanes. Can you elaborate on your practice sessions? How are you shooting splits? Are you mentally telling yourself, all right, I need to throw a double here to win a title? How do you train yourself to be ready for these moments?
A little bit of everything, actually. I'm more in the gym for endurance and just stamina purposes. We have some long days out here, so to be able to have the stamina and be in shape that way helps quite a bit, especially on the mental side too. I mean, when you get to a point where you physically start getting tired, the mental game kind of goes with it, because your mind and your body don't cooperate or don't fire on the same cylinder. So to be able to kind of take that variable out of the equation has been huge. And really leading up to this week, I was actually blessed to have an opportunity to practice at the Kegel Training Center for a week. It was Dell and the staff there just welcomed me with open arms, and it was I can't thank them enough for the last week being able to use the facility and get ready for this week. And that was huge on its own too, to be able to come into this week physically feeling confident. And then on top of that too, it was fun to actually use a little hand trick I haven't been able to use in years. Majority of the weeks out here we're kind of standing to the left and throwing it right pretty quick, and to find something to be able to kind of manipulate 2, 3, 4, 5 at the arrows and kind of manipulate that outside line with just a super rolly hand. I haven't been able to do that in a long time, and man, I had fun with it. It was so fun to be able to do that again and just know I still got it. And that was pretty cool. And on top of it too, it almost felt like Norm-esque, manipulating the right when people are trying to play further inside. And I after funny was I was actually 30 under after 9 games of qualifying, and so going into game 10, I was still significantly out of the cut, and was able to put some good games together and just find a groove there, and find that little field trick, and just fired on all cylinders this week, and it was amazing.
I remember noticing late in qualifying you had moved right and started doing that, and I remember thinking, well, if Marshall has got that, he might be able to make a bit of a run here. And next thing I knew, you were in second, making a run at Dio, who was hundreds ahead of everyone else, and you kind of put yourself right up there with him. So that was definitely impressive. What is it about your game that enables you to be so successful out there? I don't think I saw hardly any other right-handers even try it, and yet you just won a title doing what you were doing out there with an axe.
I don't know. Like I said, speaking for me, I know I have that really super rolly trick where I can get more forward than probably a lot of people can and get closer. I'm really comfortable at being on top of it. Like my sight line, playing that zone, and I'm actually looking at the bumper rail, like the middle of the bumper rail. So I'm looking in the gutter to play there. It's just, I guess, just my own little trick that I do. These guys out here are so talented, so versatile, so good. They can figure it out, but it was kind of surprising more people didn't do that. But also, when their looks weren't exactly bad either. So it's kind of hard to go away from something is going to somewhat work if you throw good shots to something you probably haven't done in a while. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just glad that nobody else figured it out. I don't know.
Coming into Steel City here, you made a bit of a run here a couple years ago, almost won the Tour Finals against Anthony Simonson. Got a little bit of revenge here today. What did you draw on from that experience? Was it just a little bit of understanding of the lanes, a little bit of motivation, like, I got to get him back for that win? What is that experience from bowling here in Steel City? How did you kind of apply that today?
Well, it's funny because after game 1, I started to have the same issue with my thumb that I had 2 years ago, but I kind of learned from that and went to work right away. 2 years ago, I just said, I'll suck it up, I'll deal with the pain, no big deal, and it ended up costing me. But this time during the break after games 1 and 2, I actually went and cut the dead skin off and new skin patched it up. You can see I'm kind of bleeding a little bit, but really it's kind of just a freak thing. I never have thumb issues, but with the TV lights, I like to sand the back of the thumb hole to have some texture to make sure I'm comfortable, because just between the heat and the oil soaking into the ball, it gets some oil in the thumb where it makes it a little slick on the backside. So I take a little sandpaper and rough it up to make sure I have some texture. And kind of the same thing at Tour Finals when you bowl multiple shows in a row. I don't really, you don't plan on bowling that many games in a row, especially sanding the back of the thumb every time, so that texture kind of ended up biting me. But I learned from last time, and I was just fortunate that Simon had a chance to tie the last game. I was fortunate he didn't, and then fortunate enough I had a chance to get up in the first shot in the roll off to seal the deal.
What's going through your mind there when you're stepping up knowing a strike's a winner?
I actually said under my breath quite a bit today. I said, whatever happens, happens. Like, that kind of took me away from the results-oriented process and got me back to from the foul line back, making sure everything was in, do your process from the foul line back and just let whatever happens happen. So multiple times during the matches, I just said, whatever happens, happens. And that almost freed me up mentally and physically to where I just throw it good, whatever. If it doesn't strike, oh well. If it splits, oh well. But just take care of business here and let the rest take care of itself. And just that little phrase helped out a lot. Yeah,
you had some very loose vibes here today. During the breaks, fans probably at home couldn't really tell, but I mean, you were literally dancing with the crowd to jump around at one point for an entire commercial break. So how important is staying loose like that to allowing yourself to be free and bowl well?
It definitely takes the edge off a little bit for sure. Last couple of years being here for Tour Finals, I've gotten to build a relationship with a lot of people out here, and knowing you have that many people behind your corner is a pretty cool feeling. And then even last year, we were in the bar singing karaoke for a while, and so multiple people came up and said, hey, it's the karaoke king. It's just it's cool, have a little chuckle about it, and it's a fun environment overall, and I think that definitely helps take the competitive edge away and kind of free you up a little bit. That was huge.
All right, 2 titles for you this season, but other results maybe aren't too up to your standard. How would you evaluate this season?
I told Kyle yesterday. I said it was a good bad year because like we got a title. Well, we got 2 titles out of it now. The rest of it was kind of underwhelming, but it was a lot of figuring things out on the fly. And I think the break helped me out a lot mentally because at the end of the season, you kind of get the little bit of a burnout being on the road so long and competing. And even when it's going well, it's easy to kind of get a little burnout. And so things were a little rough, but having that time off to kind of decompress and reset, and then come into this week actually feeling ready to compete again and mentally fresh was huge. And also knowing that I've got a lot of rounds of golf coming up was huge as well. So this is definitely the icing on the cake to what's going to be a great summer of golf, and being able to just travel quite a bit too.
All right, 9 titles for you now. 1 away from PBA Hall of Fame title eligibility.
Wild.
That's pretty special, huh?
Wild. Yeah, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I'd almost given up on the thought, and now it's literally right there. And I already feeling that after Indiana. It's like, oh, we're a step closer, okay. And now this one's kind of a smack in the face reality sort of thing. It's like it's literally right there. Like just one more good week, one more great week. Doesn't matter if it's a major or not, just one more great week. It's wow. It's what we work our whole lives for, and it's within reach. It's just crazy.
All right, nine titles. That might be the coolest trophy you're gonna have in your case. You got a special place marked out for it yet?
It's definitely the heaviest. That's for sure. I haven't thought of a place to put it yet, but it'll definitely get its special place for sure. I mean, first Norm Duke Open, got his signature right here. Been blessed to be a good friend of his for a long time, and yeah, it's gonna have a special spot in the case for sure.
All right, Marshall Kent, PBA Norm Duke Open champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.